Welcome to More Than Mindset, the only podcast that bridges the gap between spirituality and success. Go beyond the mind with clarity and confidence coach Kim Guillory and learn how to integrate your passion to serve with your skills and experience to create a business you love. Let's get started.
Hello, and welcome back to the show. This week, I am talking about the pillars of personal growth and business cycles. This is crazy how familiar both are to each other. So we all know we want to grow, right? Yeah, otherwise you wouldn't be here because this says grow your business. And in order to grow your business, you have to first know that you are growing yourself. So I want to talk about the stages and how aligned personal growth and business growth are. It's actually this cycle that repeats, this pattern, in order for you to become whole and in abundance and prosperous and successful. So first, we have an idea or a vision, and it might look like something like, I want to have financial freedom or time freedom. I want to be home with my children and still be able to contribute to the family. It may be something like that, right? It's an idea. Maybe you've seen someone else do it, or you've just always wanted to be a stay-at-home mom that also contributed financially. It could be anything like that. For some of you, you have this huge passion to change something in the world, to leave an imprint, to leave a legacy. And the cycle of personal growth and the cycle of business is the same. And I'm going to show it to you. Okay. So first you start with the idea. Then you need a vehicle to carry the idea out into the world. And business is a beautiful vehicle. So is parenthood, by the way. But for this particular show, we're going to talk about business. So you have this idea or vision. Maybe it's part of your legacy. Maybe it's just something that you want to attain. You choose the vehicle of business and you have to brand it. You have to become the authority somewhere, somehow. The problem that you solve, the people that you help, you want to establish this authoritative position. And this will require some sort of branding. Maybe it's personal branding. Maybe it's just the branding of the actual business, but it's going to have some sort of identification. So you have the idea. You have the vehicle, and now you have the branding, which is the representation of the authority, the position that you hold. Then you need photos because you need to be able to represent that visually. People need to see it. They need to identify it with you. So there is this alignment with your photos and the message. Then you have to embody confidence as this new identity. This business person who is serving the world, who is leaving a legacy, who is doing something bigger than themselves, or maybe learning how to do something that they've never experienced before. And so your style is going to change. How you represent yourself is going to change. How you look in the mirror and what you see back, the perception of yourself is changing. And then once you embody this new style, this new you, and you have representation of it, the message, the visuals, people know who you are, you've identified yourself in the market, then this really crazy thing starts to happen. And I'm sure all of you who are in business have experienced this, but I'm going to put a name to it. Your health begins to shift. Maybe you have a rash or some sort of chronic pain begins to show up in your knees, in your feet, in your lower back. And these are all representations of the unconscious, these unconscious limiting beliefs that is lying beneath the surface. And so all of the doubts and the fears, the shame of failing, all of these things start to bubble up to the surface, and they are represented in physical form through the body, often as chronic pain, illness, disease, because there is conflict. There is conflict between the limited person and the limitless person. So suddenly there's this resistance And all of the fears show up to keep you safe, to keep you the same, right? To make sure that you don't fail, to protect you. And when we resist that, then things show up in the physical body. I have seen this happen so many times. My clients in eSchool will break out with a rash on their neck. For me, it was around my mouth. Sometimes it's eye twitching. All the imposter syndrome shows up in physical form, lower back representation of like, will I make it? Am I supported? The knees, can I support myself? The feet, I don't know if I can go forward. The hips is the inability or the fear to thrust forward. And it's all because of these subconscious beliefs. And we don't even recognize them, because they happened at a very young age. And here we are in a grown body, and it doesn't make sense, right? We're like, no, like I understand, and this shouldn't be happening. And all of that resistance actually is what we call TMS. And so TMS is the mind-body syndrome. And it's when there is a connection between yourself in physical form and in mental and emotional form. And so there is a dissonance, and it shows up metaphysically in the body as chronic pain, illness, and disease. All right. So that's what happens in the health department. And then what shows up in your relationship department, you're no longer the same identity that you used to be. You have new dreams and visions. You've grown as an individual. Maybe your partner hasn't. Maybe your parents don't understand you. Maybe your high school friends don't know what happened to you, right? Your neighbors don't even recognize you anymore. And when you look in the mirror, maybe you don't even recognize yourself. And so your relationships are therefore affected. And then finances are shifting, because now you've invested all of this money in your personal growth, all of this money in your business growth. And now you may even be in debt, freaking out, right? It's kind of like your fourth year of college. Now you're graduating, you have a student loan to pay back. It's the same thing in business. It doesn't matter where you choose to grow. There is going to be an investment, a financial investment, an energetic investment, a time investment, a belief investment. So your finances begin to change, shift. Maybe you get really serious, like I got to make it happen now that I'm in debt, now I've got to pay all this back. And then you get super serious, right? And so you align actions to get the results, to get a return on investment. Beautiful place to be. Starting to make money. Now you can embody this spiritual wholeness or this soul alignment, because you have now become the person who is leaving the legacy, the person who has changed their perception. They're now growing, they're contributing, they're helping the world, whether it's heal or change. They're creating change from within themselves. They're mirroring it. People are following them. And then they are beginning to see the change in themselves. Now they're feeling more confident. Now you're making money. So this is the time when you can contribute. This is the time when you can give to charity. This is the time when you can give back, because you've personally invested in yourself and your own growth. And now you're in a better position. Now you understand marketing and sales, and you're able to represent this authoritative position. You claim your space in the market. You become successful. And then you can become a contributor to give to something bigger than yourself. Some of you may have wanted to do this at the very beginning, and it was the reason that you got into business to start off with, because you wanted to help other people, right? This is for so many of us. I work specifically with healing-focused entrepreneurs, whether that's service or product-based. You're helping people improve their lives, their health, wealth, and relationships. But here's the part that we often miss. We have to first do that for ourselves. And that's the cycle of personal growth, of business growth, is moving through all of these pillars. And then you become the potential and the example for other people, so you can help lead and guide them. The reason that so many business owners or entrepreneurs have imposter syndrome is because they actually haven't completed the cycle yet. They actually haven't done the work yet, and maybe even haven't even started the process of the work. And I am not saying that you need to complete it all the way around before you can help people. It's quite the opposite. The desire to help people becomes the driver. So the reason that you go through all of this is so that you can help humanity, you can help yourself, you can help your family, you can break generational cycles, you can end the war on poverty and hunger and limited beliefs, whatever that is. For some people, it's ending the cycle of broken families. For some, it's ending the cycle of suicide. For others, it's healing the cycle of poverty or scarcity. That part is individual. It's unique to you. It's whatever desire is within you. I know working with healing focused entrepreneurs, so many of you have a hang up with money. You've heard things about money that make you feel guilty or shameful. And that is actually preventing you from serving people, from doing what you want to do, from contributing. But once you understand this cycle and you could see it all the way through, then you have a better understanding of where you are and at what part of the process that you're in. I hope this is helpful. I'm going to repeat the cycle and just know that it doesn't have to be in that order. It's just that I do know that all of these areas will be affected. How we do anything is how we do everything. What is above is below. What is inside shows up outside. I have seen this for 20 something years. I took myself through understanding business. I did not have a business coach back then in 1997. I didn't have business books. I really didn't know what I was doing. I just wanted to help people. I wanted to create something that I could contribute that made me feel satisfied and fulfilled. I wanted to be able to make my own money. I wanted to be free. I wanted to make decisions. I wanted to travel, and I didn't want to depend on my husband. And I wanted to give my children more than what we could give them with just him working. So there was a lot of reasons behind it. So first, you have an idea of a vision of doing something different. Maybe it's contributing in some way. Maybe it's the idea that you can pull off something that no one in your family has ever done. The second thing is you have to have a vehicle to do that in. And business is a great vehicle for personal and professional growth and financial growth. The next thing is you have to have a personal brand or a representation of the authority, the problem that you solve, the people that you help. And then you need photos. Now you can do some selfies, guys. I'm not saying you can't do that, but eventually you're going to want your own branding photos. And those are going to be part of your message, a visual message. And then the way that you style, the changes that you make, embodying confidence, representing yourself differently. This is basically where you use your voice, where you begin to, now you look different, now you sound different, now you show up and speak differently. And then your health will often take a hit because you are changing the identity of who you were to who you are now. And then your relationships that have fallen away, that didn't come along with you, need to be addressed. This is going to require some intimacy and some transparency and willing to have some hard, difficult conversations. And then your finances, all of the invested you have done, begins to come back. You get a return on investment. And now you're stepping into a position where you can give back because you're making the money back. You've gotten your investment back. And now you have the opportunity to help serve the world in a bigger capacity, whether that is your family or it is something outside of the family. Maybe it's helping stop world hunger or whatever it is for you, personally for you. We all have our own. And then you have come full circle. You're now contributing, you're giving back, you're doing things that are bigger than for yourself. You're actually serving humanity and the world. And this is how we create change together. It's no longer striving and fighting to survive. You now become part of contributing in a greater capacity, and you've come this full circle. And this is why I say personal growth and business growth is all about growing in healing, health, wealth, finances, spirituality, because it's an all-encompassed system or pillars or process. It's a journey, right? And this is the same thing for your clients. So if you want to take your clients to where you are today, they're going to have to start at the beginning of this journey also with an idea. right? Thinking that they can do something different or offer something different. And then they will need a vehicle in order to begin that personal transformation and change. For some, it's going to be weight loss or healing their marriage, or depends on what sort of coach you are and what problem you want to solve. Typically, it's in health, wealth, and relationships because people are willing to pay to solve those problems. And then they'll have to recognize all of these steps and stages are going to happen. So you become part of the education system. You are teaching them about relationships with themselves, relationship with a higher power, relationship with their partners or with people in their life. And I see so many coaches get caught up in this because once we get to this certain level where we have figured it out, then we want to have conversations with people who have figured it out and we forget where we started. So if you are a coach or a practitioner, holistic wellness advocate, a hypnotherapist, a massage therapist, you are in the business of development. You're helping people personally develop. And this cycle is going to be true for you, for your business, and for your clients and their personal transformation. Let me know what stood out for you, if this made sense. I want to hear from you. If you think someone would benefit from hearing this, please share it with them, give us a review, and come over to the More Than Mindset group and let's have a conversation about it. This is where we post the podcast and we do free trainings and live calls. We have lots of events that happen in there, so I would love to get to know you.
Thanks for listening to this episode of More Than Mindset.